Good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to physics online classes. Look here, today we'll start the very important and interesting topic, that is chapter number 14. Especially it comes in your second part in your physics in second year, and the name of the topic, that is about semiconductor electronics. About the semiconductor electronics. Here, it is so important topic and interesting topic, and today we'll go further in brief about introduction and what are the importance of semiconductor and what are the advantages of your semiconductor, and finally go for the classification of solids on the basis of resistivity and conductivity, and also go for on the basis of energy band diagram we can classify the solids. And today going for the lecture number 1. Today we are going for the lecture number 1, and before starting the topic, we will go for why they are given the name semiconductor electronics. Why they are given the name semiconductor electronics? Because as I said, you are studying about the physics, and but what is the relation about physics and electronics? Actually, they have to give the name semiconductor physics, but they are given semiconductor electronics. Why they given semiconductor electronics? Why not semiconductor physics? Here, basically, the electronics is a branch of physics. Basically, the electronics is a branch of physics. And also, important thing, the semiconductor that comes under electronics, also that comes under physics. The semiconductor, it comes under electronics as well as comes under physics. And can go for what is the meaning of semiconductor and what is the meaning of electronics. And as I said, first we go for the introduction. We are discussing about the introduction. Introduction to the semiconductor. Then we go for the importance of semiconductor, and then you go for advantages of semiconductor. Finally go for the classification of solids. Look here, first you go for the introduction to the semiconductor electronics, and in this introduction, first you go for the what is electronics. You go for the what is electronics. Look here, the electronics is a branch of science and technology. First you go for what is electronics, then you go for what is semiconductor, because the topic name is semiconductor electronics. First you go for what is electronics. Look here, the electronics is a branch of science and technology. In this branch, you are studying about the flow of electrons in the semiconductor, in vacuum or in gas. Once again repeat. The electronics is a branch of science and technology. In this branch of science and technology, you are studying about the movement of electrons or flow of electrons in semiconductor, in gas or in vacuum. That is about the definition of your electronics. And now you go for semiconductor. Now you go for semiconductor. Look here, the semiconductor is nothing but it is a type of material. Semiconductor, it is a type of material. In this material, it conducts partially. It conducts partially. Or the semiconductor, you can write like that. Semiconductor. Semiconductor. Split the word. Semi and conductor. It means what? Basically, sometimes it acts as a conductor, sometimes it acts as an insulator. The semiconductor, sometimes it acts as a conductor, sometimes it acts as an insulator. It means what you can say. The semiconductor is a property of semiconductor is a material, type of material. This material lying between the conductor and insulator. Or you can say its electrical property lying between the conductor and insulator. The semiconductor is the material. In this material, your electrical property lying between the conductor and insulator. It is lying between the conductor and insulator. That is nothing but your meaning of the word semiconductor. It means sometimes it acts as a conductor, sometimes it acts as an insulator. As I said, it conducts partially. It is not totally insulator. It is not totally conductor, but it is semiconductor. That's why I said it is in between conductor and insulator. And actually, the modern electronics, let's say about the modern electronics. The modern electronics is called silicon technology. Silicon technology. Why the modern electronics is called silicon technology? The modern electronics is called silicon technology. Why they are given the modern electronics called silicon technology? Because whatever you are constructing the devices, whatever you are using components, electronics, they are all made up of silicon. And silicon, it is basically the semiconductor. The silicon, it is basically the semiconductor. In semiconductor, silicon, germanium, you are using more in semiconductors. The silicon, it is basically the semiconductor material. It means why the modern electronics is called silicon technology? Because whatever you are constructing the devices in electronics, they are all made up of silicon. They are all made up of semiconductor. Example, you take your diode. You take the example diode. You take the example transistor. Or you take the example of ICs, the integrated circuits. You are using in electronics diodes, transistors, the integrated circuits. IC nothing but integrated circuits. These are all made up of semiconductor. In semiconductor, once again they are made up of silicon. That's why the modern electronics is called silicon technology. Why the modern electronics is called silicon technology? Because your diodes, transistor, ICs, they are all made up of semiconductor. Nothing but they are all made up of silicon. That's why, because the modern electronics is called the silicon technology. Now we'll go for basically, as I said here, in your why would you give the importance to the semiconductor? And as I said, you are seeing the online classes or you are hearing the online classes. That is because of semiconductor. So why you are saying like that? Because you are seeing the online classes. That is because of your mobiles. Or you are seeing online class by using your mobiles, or using computers, or using any laptops. But they are all made up of semiconductors. It may be your mobile, or it may be your laptop, or it may be computer. They are all made up of semiconductors. That is a good example of the importance of semiconductor. And especially, why you are giving more importance to semiconductor as compared to the conductor? Maybe in broad, in the nature, we are having the three types of materials are available. In the nature, we are having the three types of materials available. That is conductor, insulator, and about the semiconductor. It means in the nature, we are having the three types of material available. The material may be conductor, it may be the insulator, or it may be the semiconductor. Look here, why you are giving more importance semiconductor rather than your conductors? We'll go for that. We'll go for that. You see here, as we know already, the conductor, it is a material. It allows to pass through very easily. The conductor, it is a material. It passes through the current very easily. The conductor, it is a material. It allows the current pass through very easily. And look here, we consider this is your conductor. This is your conductor. I am saying the important difference about conductor and semiconductor. And the conductor, this is your conductor. This is your conductor. In the conductor, what happens? The current is moving in all direction. Current moving like that, also current moving in the like that. It means in overall, in the conductor, the current is moving in the opposite direction. In the conductor, the current is moving in the opposite direction. But in the conductor, it is not possible to control the flow of current. In the conductor, it is not possible to control the flow of current. But you consider your semiconductor. In semiconductor, this is your semiconductor. This is your semiconductor. In semiconductor, the current is going only one direction. The current is going only one direction. And here you can avoid the moving of the current from this direction. Here, the current is not going in the opposite direction. It only moves only one direction. Means you are controlling the current moving in the one direction. But here you are not controlling. The current is moving in the other directions. But you can control the movement of the current. That is possible by using a semiconductor. In conductor, it is not possible to control the flow of current. Or you take your insulator, that you know already. This is your insulator. In the insulator, the current is not flowing. These are the materials which do not allow the current pass through. That you know, that is about insulator. You are not worrying about insulator. The difference about conductor and semiconductor. The important thing, in the conductor, the current moving in the other direction. But here it is not possible to control the flow of current. But here it is possible to control the flow of current. That is so important. Why are you more important to semiconductor? Because in semiconductor it is possible to control the flow of current. It is possible to control the flow of current. Or another way, you are not worrying about this. In conductor, it is not possible to control the current. But here it is possible to control the current. Why you give more importance to the semiconductor? Because in semiconductor it is possible to control the flow of current, but here it is not possible to control the flow of current. Another important thing, in your conductors, this is your curve. In the conductor, another important thing, the conductors also called as positive temperature coefficient. They are called positive temperature coefficients. But the semiconductors are called negative temperature coefficients. The semiconductors are called negative temperature coefficients. What is the positive temperature coefficient and what is negative temperature coefficient? Look here in your conductor. As the temperature increases, what happens? As the temperature increases, what happens? The resistance the resistance also increases. But in your semiconductor, as the temperature increases, the resistance decreases. It means what? In your conductor, as the temperature increases, the resistance increases. It means the current is decreases, because increasing resistance, the current decreases, the conductivity decreases. But here, as the temperature increases, the resistance decreases. If the resistance decreases, the conductivity increases. The conductivity increases. This is also one major difference about your conductor and semiconductor. Another important difference, as I said in the beginning, look here in the conductor. It is not possible to increase or decrease the conductivity. In the conductor, it is not possible to increase or decrease the conductivity, but it is possible to increase or decrease the conductivity by adding the impurity. It means in the conductor, it is not possible to increase or decrease the conductivity, but in semiconductor, it is possible to increase or decrease the conductivity. That is by adding the impurities. If you are adding more impurities, you can increase the conductivity. If you are adding less number of impurities, you are decreasing the conductivity. It means why I am saying this. In conductor, it is not possible to increase or decrease the conductivity, but here it is possible to increase or decrease the conductivity. These are the major difference about your conductor and semiconductor. Another important thing, this is about a comparison about semiconductor and conductor. You consider in the semiconductor. This you consider, this is a semiconductor. Look here in this semiconductor, the important properties of the conductor means, here if you apply the light energy, you can convert it into the electrical energy. By using the semiconductor converts light energy into electrical energy. It means by using the semiconductor, you can convert electrical energy into electric. You can convert light energy into electrical energy. Or it is also possible. You can convert electrical energy into light energy. Everything is possible in your semiconductor. It is not possible in conductor. If you apply as an input the light energy, that is converting the electrical energy. And if you apply the input as a light energy, if you apply as an input as a electrical energy, you can convert it to the light energy. That is possible by using your semiconductor. Or, as I said in the beginning, look here in your semiconductors. As I said, we are using the diodes. As I said in the beginning, you are using the diode. Basically, diode is a semiconductor device. And what is the use of diode? Maybe you know already. The most important diode, it converts AC to DC. That is called rectifier. By using the diode or by using the semiconductor, you can convert the AC to DC. Also, it is possible to convert DC to AC by using your semiconductors. And this is to convert AC into DC, we call the rectifiers. To convert DC to AC, we call the oscillators. And also, it is possible to convert AC to AC or convert DC to DC. Everything is possible by using the semiconductors. This is how you can convert the one form energy to another form energy. AC to DC or DC to AC or DC to AC or DC to AC. Everything is possible by using semiconductors. Especially you are using about diodes, it is used for to convert AC to DC. Also you are using about oscillators to convert DC to AC. Theta. This is your higher level, you are not worrying about this. And this is also possible by using your semiconductors. And another important thing, as we know about the diodes. We will go for the use of transistor. What is the use of transistor? No doubt, it is also a semiconductor device. Diode, it is a semiconductor device. Transistor, it is also a semiconductor device. The most important thing in semiconductor, it is used as an amplifier. It is used as an amplifier. It is used as an amplifier. Also, it is used as a switch. It means the important thing about amplifier. The amplifier, nothing but we can increase you can send the input signal, you can amplify the signal, you can increase the input signal, or you can strengthen the input signal, or you can amplify the signal. That is nothing but amplifier. And also it is as a switch. What is switch? In some time you can make it on the switch, in some time you can make it off the switch. It means in some time the current is flowing in the circuit, in some time the current is not flowing in the circuit. Everything is possible by using your semiconductors. Your amplifiers or your switch, they are all made up of transistor. But transistor is made up of your semiconductors. Amplifier is a circuit or device. They will amplify, they will increase the input signal, they will strengthen the input signal, or they will increase the input signal, or they will increase the weak signal. This is about the amplifiers. And another, in general, as I said, you are using the TV, or you are using the radio, or if you are using your mobiles, or it may be a satellite communication, or it may be a mobile communication, or if your radars, everything you are using the amplifiers. In everywhere we are using the amplifiers. It means in everywhere we are using the transistors. These are the importance about your semiconductors. No doubt, nearly about 70% you are dependent on semiconductors. In electronics or in physics, so many devices, they are made up of nearly 70% they are made up of semiconductors. They are all made up of semiconductors. It means why I am saying all this, I am saying about the importance of your semiconductor. It means not only you are seeing the online class or you are using the mobiles, laptops, they are all made up of semiconductor. Another I said about, diode, transistor. Another I said about IC. What is IC? It is called integrated circuit. It is called integrated circuit. Basically your computer, it is an integrated circuit. The computer, it is an IC. It is an integrated circuit. What is integrated circuit? Look here in the integrated circuit, nothing but so many transistors. It may be more than 100 or 1000 transistor, diode, resistors. They are all made up of a small silicon chip, or they are all fabricated in a small silicon chip. That is nothing but IC. The more than 1000 transistor, diodes or resistors, capacitor, they are all made up of, they are all fabricated in a small silicon chip. That is nothing but IC. These are the importance about your semiconductor. Why are giving more importance to semiconductor? Because in semiconductor it is possible to control the flow of current, and also you can increase or decrease the conductivity. That is, I said, by adding the impurities. You can understand in the other class in detail. I am saying today I am going for only the introduction. And also it is possible to amplify the signal. And also, as I said, it is used as a switch. And also nowadays they are using the LCDs, or you are using the TV screen, or your mobile screen, or your computer screen. They are all made up of the semiconductors. That is LCD or LD. They are made up of LCD or LED. They are all comes under semiconductor. Actually, before inverting the semiconductor, they are using the vacuum tubes. In place of rectifier to convert AC into DC, they are using the vacuum tube diodes. And to amplify the signal, they are using vacuum tube triodes. And why they are using nowadays? Nowadays, they are all using about the semiconductor. Maybe your rectifier, your amplifier, in all the cases, they are using semiconductor. What are the advantages of semiconductor and what are the drawbacks of the vacuum tube? Look here, in vacuum tube, it is very bulky inside, big in size, and that require very high voltages, and also they require very more power. That's why we are not preferring about the vacuum tubes. We will prefer the semiconductors. Now we will go for what are the advantages of your semiconductors. What are the advantages? Now we know about importance. Also I said about difference about conductor and semiconductor. Now we look for advantages. Advantages of semiconductor. Look here, the one important advantage is small size, compact in size. The most important thing, we are giving importance to the size, compact in size. Then it requires very low power, and also it requires very low voltage. It works for very low voltage, and it is having long life. It is having a long life. And also it is so much reliable. Semiconductors are so much reliable. Why we prefer semiconductor? There are very small size, low power. They work for very low power. They consume very low power. They work for low voltages. They work for long time. And finally, they are very more reliable. And they are also, you can say, they are very fast. These are the advantages of your semiconductors. These are the advantages of your semiconductor. Now we look for another one important thing, that is this is about the importance and the advantages and about the introduction to semiconductor. Now we look for the most important thing, that is classification of solids. Look here, you have done the classification of solids on the two categories, on the basis of two categories. One is about on the basis of resistivity. On the basis of resistivity. And another one is on the basis of energy band diagram. On the basis of energy band diagram. Energy band diagram. First you go for this, then you go for this. Look here, as I said here, on the basis of resistivity, you can classify the solids. And basically, maybe you know already, the matter is nothing but it is having some mass, it acquires some space. The matter can be classified in three ways. One is solid, liquid, and gas. But we are interested only in the solid. And solid, as we know, we studied in chemistry, solid, nothing but in the solid, all the atoms are very closely spaced. All the atoms are very closely spaced. It means we are studying about here the solids. another name of your semiconductor electronics is also called as solid state electronics. It is also called as, I am seeing another name of semiconductor electronics, it is also called as solid state electronics. Because why it is called solid state electronics? Because it is also a branch of electronics, but here only you are studying about the semiconductors. It means how the charges are flowing in a semiconductor. To study of the flow of charge semiconductor, nothing but solid state electrons. That is nothing but solid state electrons. Now we will go for, on the basis of resistivity, we can classify solids in three ways. That is about conductor, semiconductor and insulator. And in general, you know, the conductor is a material. It allows the current pass through very easily. And you may ask the question, so why the current in the conductor, current is passing very easily, but why not in insulator? Or why not in your semiconductor? We'll go for that. See here, it means on the basis of resistivity. On the basis of resistivity, we can go for the conductors. You can go for the conductors. And you can go for semiconductor. And insulators. It means first you go for resistivity. And next you go for conductivity. And as we know, this you are rho nothing but the unit of symbol of resistivity can measure ohms per meter, and your sigma is the conductivity can measure siemens per meter. Look here for your conductors. What is the resistivity? There is nothing but 10 raised to minus 2 to 10 raised to minus 8 ohms per meter. And reciprocal of resistivity is nothing but conductivity. Here it is nothing but 10 raised to 2 to 10 raised to 8. And similarly, for semiconductor, that is about 10 raised to 5 to the 10 raised to minus 6. And similarly here 10 raised to minus 5 to the 10 raised to plus 6. And finally, go for the insulator, 10 raised to 11 to 10 raised to 19. This is reciprocal of this 10 raised to minus 11 to 10 raised to minus 9. And as I said, classification of solids on the basis of resistivity or on the basis of conductivity. Look here, as I said, the conductor, why it allows the current pass so very easily? Because it is having very, very less resistance. It is having very, very less resistance. As you know, if resistance is very less, there is no more current. The range of resistance is 10 raised to minus 2 to 10 raised to minus 8 ohms per meter. Because in conductor, they are having very, very less resistance. That's why they are having very, very more conductivity. They are having very more conductivity because they are having very, very less resistivity. And as you compare insulator, as you know, insulator, it is a material which do not allow the current pass through. Why it is not allowing the current pass through? Because it is having very, very more resistance. It is having very, very more resistance. As we know, if you are having more resistance, you are having very, very less conductivity. You are having very, very less conductivity. And as I said, what I said, semiconductor, it is lying between conductor and insulator. Its electrical property lying between conductor and insulator. Because you compare this and this. Here, very, very less resistivity, very, very more resistivity. But it is in between this and this. Or it is very less, very more, it is moderate. Right? Similarly here, conductivity is very, very more for your conductors, but is negligibly very, very small, or you can say 0 for here. It is here, it is in between. Or I said high, low, moderate. That's why I said the semiconductor is lying between conductor and insulator, because its resistivity also in between conductor and insulator, its conductivity also in between the conductor and insulator. That's why we call as semiconductors. Semiconductor, it is lying between conductor and insulator. And as I said, they are not given semi-insulator because it is not an insulator. It is a semiconductor. It means, as I said in the beginning, sometimes it acts as a conductor, sometimes it acts as insulator. And we'll see what time it acts as a conductor, what time it acts as insulator in the further class. Now it is enough because you have done only classification of the solids on the basis of resistivity and conductivity. Of any doubts, it is very simple. Now we will go for most important thing that is there in the 5 mark question. It means you can see classification of the solids on the basis of energy band diagram. It's so important. You can classify them on the basis of energy band diagram. Energy band diagram. So important question for your exam point of view. It means same. You can classify the conductor, semiconductor, and insulator on the basis of energy band diagram. On the basis of energy band diagram, you can classify the conductor, semiconductor, and insulator. How you have done? On the basis of resistivity, conductivity, you have done conductor, semiconductor, insulator. In the same way, it is possible on the basis of energy band diagram, we can classify the conductor, semiconductor, and insulator. And before going for the energy band diagram, we know about something about the atomic structure. We know about something about the atomic structure, because we want to go for the classification of solids on the base energy band diagram. We know about what is energy band. We know about what is called energy band, because you have done the classification on the basis of energy band diagram. What is energy band? If you go for energy band, first you understand about what is the atomic structure. And as we know, the atom consists of pen. Maybe you are surprised. Why the sir written pen? Is there any pen? Is there the atom? No. The atom consists of pen. Means what? As we know, the atom consists of P nothing but proton, E nothing but electron, N nothing but neutron. As you know already, the atom consists of proton, electron, neutron. And as you know already, consider a atom. This is your atom. As we know, in the mid you are having the nucleus, and in the surrounding the nucleus you are having the different orbits, and different orbits having the different energy levels. The different orbits having the different energy levels. It means, look here, you are having some electrons, you are having some electrons, and here are also some electrons, and here also have some electrons. As we know, in the center, you are having the nucleus. The nucleus contains proton and neutrons. And surrounding the nucleus, your electrons are revolving. Different orbits having different energy level. As you know, you have studied in chemistry in detail, but it is related to here. That's why I am explaining once again. It means the atom consists of proton, neutron, electron. In the nucleus, inside the nucleus, you are having proton and neutrons, and surrounding the nucleus, you are having the different orbits, and electrons are revolving in the different orbits having the different energy levels. The electrons are revolving in the different orbits having the different energy levels. The important thing here, this electron having the influence of only this nucleus. This electron is influencing only under this nucleus. And also, if the electron is very near to the nucleus, it is having very less energy. And if this electron is having very more energy, why it is having very more energy? Because this electron is far away from the nucleus. Is far away from the nucleus. If the electrons or if the orbit is very near to the nucleus, they are having very less energy. If the orbit is far away from the nucleus, or if the electron is far away from the nucleus, it is having very more energy. And as you know, you have studied in chemistry, the outermost orbit electron, also called as valence electron. Whatever electrons are there in the outermost orbit, they are called valence electrons. And as here you can draw the graph, this is your energy. And here this may be a first energy level, second energy level, third energy level. Alright, first energy level, second energy level, and this is third energy level. Look here, now we are considering the isolated atom. We are considering it is called isolated atom. It is called isolated atom. Why it is called isolated atom? Because this atom is individual. We are considering only one atom. This atom is not having any interaction with the neighboring atoms. This atom, it is not having any interaction with the neighboring atoms. That's what is called isolated atom. We are considering only the single atom. We are only considering only one atom. If this atom is not having any interaction with the neighboring atoms, because you are not having any atoms in the neighboring. In this case, if this electron having only the influence of this nucleus, and this electron having a different energy, this electron having a different energy, and this electron having a different energy. That we can represent the first energy level, second energy level, third energy like that. Because you are only considering the isolated atom. And what about, I am not saying about energy band, I am saying about energy level. But when you will get energy band? When you will get the energy band? Now we will go for that. Now we are considering only about the single atom. We are only considering about the isolated atom. Now we go for the, what happens in the solid? What is the effect of solid? Because you are interested in the solid. You are studying about the solids. And as we know, in the solids, you are having the million and millions of atoms are there in the solid. In the solid, you are having the million and billions of atoms are there in the solid, and also all the atoms are very near. They are very closely spaced. They are very closely spaced. But in solids, as I said here, the atoms are very near, and there are n number of atoms are there. I said million and billions. You can consider the n number of atoms are there in the solid. And actually, we are considering only one atom. You consider 2 or 3 atoms. You don't worry about n atoms. It's so confusing. You consider the 3 atoms. This is one, then this is another, and this is another, and this is another. It is A, B, C, D. Look here, what happens? Here, I am saying only 4, here I have n number of atoms are there, and they are very closely spaced. They are very closely spaced. Right up. If the atoms are very closely spaced, then what happens? Look here, this is your electron. This is your electron, this is the electron, this is the electron. And important thing, this electron is not having the effect of this nucleus, also from the effect of this nucleus. Or this electron is interacting with the neighboring electrons of the atoms. Because they are very near. Because all the atoms are very near. It means this electron is not only having the effect of this nucleus, also from this nucleus, also from this nucleus, also from this nucleus. It means what happens? the electron energy is not same for all atoms. This electron having some energy, this energy is not same as the B electron having the energy. Also from C electron having energy, also from D electron having energy. It means what? The energy is not same for all the electrons, because this is different atom, this is different atom, this is different atom. Then what happens? This energy will be splitting of the energy will take place. Here what happens? The splitting of energy will take place. As I said here, if you consider this is the energy level for single atom, but if you consider like the solids, here what happens? Like that, it may be like that, the splitting of the energy levels. Here you consider the isolated single atom, you are getting like that energy level. But if you consider like that solids, in number atoms are there. If the atoms are very near, then what happens? This electron is interaction with this atom, also this atom, or this electron having the relation with this electron, also this electron, also this electron. It means what I am saying here. This electron having the energy, this energy is not same from all the electrons of the energy level. It means this electron having the interacting with this atoms. Then what happens? The energy level is not fixed. The energy level may increase or decrease, or the energy level will splitting like that. The energy levels are splitting like that. And if the energy levels are splitting, and as I said, you are using the n number of atoms, then what happens? Actually, if you are using n number of atoms, like that, the energy levels are splitting. Like we are having the energy levels. The splitting of energy will take place. Like that, we are having the splitting of energy levels. Or you can write also like that also. It means if you are considered the solid, in solid where so many atoms are very near, if the so many atoms are very near, this energy is not same for all the atoms. Then the time what happens? The energy will splitting take place. The splitting of energy level will take place. This splitting of energy level nothing but energy band. The splitting of energy level nothing but energy band. Or actually look here, this group of energy levels, they are very closely spaced and also they are very discrete. This group of energy levels, they are very closely spaced and they are very discrete. This group of energy levels is nothing but the energy band. What is energy band? Group of energy levels. They are very closely spaced, they are discrete. This group of energy levels is nothing but the energy band. For what I am saying? Consider only the single atom. It is nothing but energy level. Energy level. But it is called, turn right here, like that. Very close space. This is nothing but energy. Here, n atoms, n number of atoms. It means because of your using n number of atoms, the energy level is splitting like that. This splitting of energy levels, and also they are very closely spaced. They are discrete. This group of energy levels that form the energy band. It means the group of energy levels are splitting of energy levels, or they are very closely spaced and they are discrete. This group of energy level is nothing but the energy band. This is nothing but energy band. And don't confuse, if you consider only the single atom, then only energy level. But if you consider like that and consider only the 4 atoms, there are n number of atoms. Because n number of atoms, this energy level also splitting the energy will take place. These are all different energy levels. They are very closely spaced and they are discrete. This group of energy levels, they are very closely spaced and discrete. This group of energy levels is nothing but the energy band. Forward. I will go for the most important thing about actually to go for the maybe for this to understand the energy band diagram. If we are only giving importance to the three important bands, give more importance to the three important bands. What are that? Valence band, and second one conduction band, and finally we are studying about the forbidden energy gap. Going for the forbidden energy gap. Look here, as I said, you have done the classification solids on the basis of energy band diagram. In energy band diagram, you are giving importance to the valence band, conduction band, and forbidden energy gap. You are going to give importance to the forbidden energy gap. And I will go for what is called valence band, what is conduction band, what is called forbidden energy gap. Look here, as I said here, what is energy band? That is nothing but group of energy levels. No doubt. Here also the group of energy levels. That is because of valence electrons. The group of energy levels because of valence electrons. That is nothing but valence band. Here also the group of energy levels, that is because of free electrons, that is nothing but conduction band. Or the group of energy levels because of the conduction electrons, that is nothing but conduction band. Repeat once again. What is valence band? The valence band nothing but group of energy levels, that is because of valence electrons. The group of energy levels, that is because of free electrons, that is conduction band. This is valence band. Or in systematic way, what they are given in book. Here in valence band, the energy occupied by the valence electrons. The energy occupied by the valence electrons, that is nothing but valence band. The energy occupied by the free electrons, that is nothing but conduction band. And what about forbidden energy gap? What about the forbidden energy gap? The forbidden energy gap nothing but the distance between the conduction band and valence band, or the gap between the conduction band or valence band, or the separation between the conduction band and valence band, or the energy difference between the conduction band and valence band, that is nothing but energy gap or forbidden energy gap. Alright. What is, they will ask one more question. What is valence band, conduction band and forbidden energy gap? Valence band nothing but the energy occupied by the valence electrons, the energy occupied by the free electrons, or the group of energy levels, that is because of valence electrons, that is valence band. The group of energy levels, that is because of free electrons, that is conduction band. What about forbidden energy gap? That is nothing but the distance between the conduction band and valence band, or the energy difference between the conduction band and valence band, or the separation between the conduction and valence band, that is nothing but forbidden energy gap. Yes, this is about the today's class. Actually, in the tomorrow class, we go for the how we can classify the conductor, semiconductor, and insulator on the basis of valence band and conduction band and forbidden gap, and we go for in the tomorrow class. Thank you.